Welcome to part 8 of the chest on chest build. This week we talk about the moldings and we get the upper case put together. Let's do it.
Alright guys, so here's where we're at. We got the top on. Now I'm trying to figure out moldings for I had to figure this out so I could figure out the dimensions of my top section. And I changed the molding from originally. I'm still keeping the same molding here, but I changed to this tabletop bit from white side, mainly because of the setback. The other bit I was having a problem. So what I mean is when you have your chest, your second chest, you kind of want it to line up with the outside of the quarter column here. So I'm pretty close. I'm about maybe 1/8 of an inch off, and so the other molding I was going to try to do just didn't set back far enough from here to here, and I wanted to cover this seam in here with this one. You don't have to, but I just wanted it. I just didn't want a seam there on that top portion. I wanted it to just kind of roll over into this. And the reason I chose this bit is you can see if you look at a lot of period furniture from this area, they have something similar to this. They have like some kind of OG with just like a round over coming in it. So that's the reason why I chose that. So I can't really do this molding. This is just a piece I had laying around because I don't have enough wood. Well, I have wood, but it doesn't have a good enough figure to use, and I want to make sure that I'm keeping that same. If you see my angles going this way, and the other pieces that I cut they just weren't doing it. So I got some more wood coming from Bob Close, hopefully pretty soon. But in the meantime, the main thing is I want to get this chest built before the top portion, because I've had these panels sitting around for longer than I'd like. So that's where we're at with that. And as they say in the music business, second verse same as the first. So
Tonight.
All right, guys. So they say never make the same mistake twice. Well, I just keep making different ones, but I'm not gonna make this one again. So what I've got here is I got my dado blade set up, and I got a line drawn because I've got my dovetail. So when I get up to here, I'll know to stop so I don't blow it out. Even though it's really on the bottom, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, let's run it. Okay, so I didn't really talk about this the first time around. So what I've got here is these are 1.5 inches wide, and they go right here like this. And this is to bump us out our spacer for this. And then what'll happen is once I get these glued on, then this will come flush to this, just like that, and that gives me my 1.25 inch set out. Alright, so I'm just going to glue these bad boys on here and tack them in. Alright guys, so I didn't show this on the first one. What I do to get this all squared up is clamp me some squares on it, and then I check it with my my tri-square to make sure that they are square. And then I just take me a stick and make sure you've got a good end on it. Is that a good end? There we go. And then I stick it up here and I mark it to get my length. And then I'll go whack that and make sure that works. And then I'll cut them all to size. And then we'll run the dovetails. All right, so now that I got these pieces cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to run a joiner on the back side edge. I'm going to trim like a 32nd or 16th off the front, just in case I got some chip out, which I really didn't, but it cleans up my front really nice. And then I'll run the grooves in the back, sand them, and we'll get them installed. So now I got those cut, and I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna go ahead and sand 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna leave this one out for right now because I've got some dividers and I gotta figure out where those dividers go. And then this is gonna have to be half blind in the top, so I gotta make sure that I cut those at exactly the same place. So let me go ahead and sand these and get these up, and I'll get these in. That way my case will be pretty strong together. And then I'll go and we'll take a look at Okay, so what I got now is this is the top piece that will go and be half blind in up here at the top. And what I did was I came in a 1/2 inch, same over here, and then whatever my distance was from here to here, I just added an inch. And I did that just so that it was easier to remember and less costly a mistake. Alright, so then what I did was I drew a line on the front side of where it is, and I lined it up to the inside of where my case is. And then I already had marked my lines here, so I'll do that. Just one thing to make sure that you don't get twisted around and you cut the wrong side. So I know this is my upside, so I'm gonna write dovetail here and here, and then on this one you're actually cutting on the underside, so your dovetail would be in between here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set a different fence up to run these, and then we'll cut these, and then we'll go ahead and do our other partitions and everything in the center. And so the height of our bed will stay the same. I will have to reset up my sliding part, but I want to make sure I get this in first before I move on to the next part. All right, I just made me a fence out of maple that I some scrap I had, and I ran the bit through like that, and then I just drew lines on my piece, set my fence, and then we're ready to roll. Now if for some reason you didn't have a fence, the way to get around that is just to clamp your board, but you might want to make a shorter fence than what I've got here, and that'll help out quite a bit. All right, let's run these things.
catch you next week.